The Delhi Master Plan 2041 draft is out, and it is this document in its final form which will serve as the blueprint that will guide the city's growth over the next 20 years. Now, Delhi's population is projected to grow from the current 20 million people today to almost 30 million people by 2041. How will India's capital city, which features as one of the fastest growing mega cities in the world, handle this growth? Will it be successful in ensuring affordable housing, clean air, adequate water, transport and job opportunities for its citizens? The draft Delhi Master Plan released by Delhi Development Authority or DDA has been put up now for citizen feedback, and it outlines that its goal is to foster a sustainable, livable and vibrant Delhi. But does the master plan give us the confidence that these goals will be achieved? Joining me for the answers are Rajiv Talwar, Managing Director at DLF Developers Limited, Dr. Rumi Aizaz, Senior Fellow at Observer Research Foundation, that's ORF, and Dikshu Kukreja, Principal Architect at CP Kukreja Architects. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. Before we get into the discussion, here are the three big goals specified in the master plan. Number one, to become an environmentally sustainable city that provides a healthy environment for its citizens and is adaptable towards addressing impacts of climate change. What does this mean? Housing for all, rental housing, no more unauthorized colonies, controlling air pollution, many more green public spaces, lots more trees, and of course, better quality of water and adequate water. The goal number two, developing a future-ready city that offers good quality, affordable and safe living environment with efficient mobility systems. So, more public transport, green mobility or e-vehicles and less private cars. Remember, Delhi is one of the cities with the largest number of private cars on its roads in India. Goal three, emerge as a dynamic place for economic, creative and cultural development. 30.3% of the population in Delhi is in the age group of 15 to 30 years, making Delhi one of the cities with the highest young population in the world, and all these people will need jobs, so making it an economic hub is a priority. I think right up front, I'm going to say that going through the draft, I could actually visualize a Barcelona or Delhi becoming a world-class city matching the best in the world, because it has been drafted extremely well. But I'm going to start with housing. And Mr. Talwar, I'm looking at everything in the draft plan. More public land to build affordable housing, more rental housing, land pooling, in situ slum redevelopment, stop any more unauthorized colonies from coming up. But what's new? These ideas have been spoken about, attempted before, and some of them not successful.
What you said is right. It's a very good document, would make excellent reading anywhere in the world. But then people will have to come to Delhi to see how far it's been implemented. I think basically we've had a city which has been out, the aspirations have been outgrowing the physical content. And for the next 20 years, we need to change that paradigm and allow basic facilities to be provided. If it's housing, then yes, we need a lot more of housing over here. We need to go vertical. And in order to go vertical, we've used an age-old excuse always that how will it impact the environment? Do we have enough resources of water, electricity, or clean air? I think that's something which the basic plan needs to provide for. The government, whether it's in the union government or the state government, with the help of the governments which are covered in the NCR region, that basics like water, electricity, transport, education, health, sewage treatment, air pollution and housing, those need to be set in place. And I think then we can hope for that, yes, this plan will actually come to life in the way it was always imagined. For instance, if you're talking about housing, I think we need to do so much. We need to provide at least 1 to 5 lakh homes of just 300 square feet basis, which is called a 1 BHK. Because with the kind of millennial population coming and the kind of unauthorized colonies or slums that we crop up in this city, we need to have enough to provide housing to everyone as soon as they come. And that too on a rental basis and not on ownership, We've gone wrong earlier, which we used to say that we'll give you land for the landless. They come back into slums. So I think once we do that, and then a modern city, like you said, okay, you took the name of Barcelona, we can take of any city, that I think we need to do digital. We need to go digital very soon, whether it is payment, whether it is monitoring systems, and therefore the number of people required would be lesser, but for services, the number of people would be greater. And one thing which we need to keep in mind is water recycling. There is a shortage already. The LG is already asking for more water in this city, and we need to recycle water. Unfortunately, we don't do that. The rivers got to be treated like a river and not a drain of the last resort. We need to treat our sewage on land itself, and we don't need to send it to the river. So I think once that is done, then we can get about the much finer issues in this city. We have a large number of women working. We see a large number of women working at all levels, but we need to increase employment for women. There is a manpower challenge, and we need to meet that.
Dr. Aizaz, you've looked at master plans, the first 3 master plans. This is the 4th one that we are seeing now for Delhi. My question is that, honestly, I cannot point to a single gap in the master plan. It actually covers everything, if not very deeply, but at least it covers all the challenges that Delhi faces. But to me, the solutions came across as just solutions on paper. Is that correct? Or do you feel that my reading is wrong?
No, your reading is partly correct. I think it's a very concise document. Unlike the previous 3 plans prepared by the DDA, this offers a concise information on each of the urban sectors that have been covered in the plan. So I believe that this is the only way that one can proceed insofar as improvement of our cities are concerned. If you want to do something for the city, in this case, urban planning or improvement of the city through planning, you need to have accurate and concise information on what needs to be done in order to address the various challenges that exist in each of these urban sectors, whether it's housing or transport or mobility or physical and social infrastructure. So I think it is not a below average effort. It is not. I think it's an average effort by the plan preparers. These are policy documents, and you can provide only very limited information in such plans. Okay. Then once it goes into the hands of the implementing agencies, it's their responsibility to break down these plan proposals or policies into action plans and also into projects. So from that point of view, the plan fares well, according to me.
All right, fair enough. Like I said at the beginning, it reads fantastically well. And if you imagine all that's been said in that draft plan, you can actually imagine Delhi as a fantastic city going forward or by 2041. Dikshu, look at that one important goal that the plan actually speaks about, to become an environmentally sustainable city that provides a healthy environment for its citizens and is adaptable towards addressing impacts of climate change. Now, here's my question. We all understand climate change is going to be a big problem, but in Delhi, we haven't been able to handle something like the air pollution challenge. So noble but very lofty goals. How do we reach them?
So Manisha, we are talking here about a city, like you said. I want to give a perspective to your viewers here. When we say that this is a master plan of 2041, where we are looking at the population going from 2 crores or 20 million to 30 million, that translates to 5 lakh people increasing in population every single year for the next 20 years. Now imagine that challenge where the city's population will increase by 50% of what Delhi is today. So these are enormous numbers, and we must understand that we are talking about a city where not only has it been not breathable, like you said, but also the danger of running completely out of water, running dry. So from that perspective, I must compliment, like you have said, It's a very comprehensive master plan. It has great ideas. It is quite universal. It covers all kinds of aspects to make it livable. So all those ticks are there. And I compliment for coming up with such a comprehensive document. But where I think a challenge lies, and I hope we can succeed in that, is that there is this multiplicity of authorities when it comes to the execution of the master plan. And that has been a problem even in the past with the 3 master plans. So I hope here, or I would wish that this master plan is implemented by an agency which has this overall umbrella authority over all the different aspects. If it's transportation, it's the Delhi Traffic Police. If it's water, it's Delhi Jal Board, etc., etc., etc. So I would say that it's very important that if we want to see this master plan truly realized in what it spells out there, it should be somewhere where an umbrella organization can be given the single responsibility to make sure it happens. Regarding the environmental aspects, I would certainly say that the master plan is talking about a lot of aspects. As you probably know, it talks about making Delhi green and blue, as in reviving the water bodies, looking after the element of water harvesting, etc., and also increasing the green cover of the city. So these are very good ambitions. I feel this is the step in the right direction. But as far as Delhi's pollution goes and other environmental aspects go, we have to understand there's a lot of urban migration within NCR area. People travel into Delhi and then go off it. They are living in the suburbs. Now we have the rapid rail transport which is coming in, where people all the way from Meerut and Panipat will travel to Delhi daily for work. So these things have to be kept in mind. And I think the pollution aspect which we face, like air pollution you referred to, we have to be careful because it's a regional impact. And we know where these come in seasonal times in Delhi. So unless these are contained, there's only that much Delhi will be able to do, or its master plan.
Which I think the master plan very clearly mentions that, you know, the air pollution issue is actually a regional issue and you will have to work in coordination with other states as well. Dr. Aizaz, tell me, what has been our track record of implementing, let's say, the earlier 3 plans? I mean, you know, somewhere we feel that if implementation is the biggest challenge, can you outline for us what were the big gaps? Why did those not get implemented as well as they were documented?
Yes, the implementation is indeed a big challenge for the Delhi Development Authority. The plan, as you know, it's a comprehensive document. It covers a wide variety of sectors for improving the quality of life in Delhi, for providing employment opportunities, for creating better public spaces. You know, the number of projects that were prepared by the implementing agencies based on the previous plans, it could run into several hundreds of projects. And you know, when you have such ambitious projects where latest technologies and a lot of investment is required, then you need to have that much amount of funds to be able to implement a project properly. So as you know, as we all know, the implementing agencies are many a times, they are short of funds. They do not have enough funds at their disposal. They are unable to generate sufficient resources from their own sources of funds. And you know, if you look at the current plan or the previous plans, none of the plans have provided a financial plan also, in addition to the physical projects, infrastructure projects.
Dr. Aizaz, you've actually said that fantastic plans, but where will the money come to implement all of these plans? Capacity is, of course, the second one. Stay with us. We're going to take this discussion forward. I think one line which really caught my attention in this particular document is that Delhi can actually be the showcase city in India, inspiring policies and projects in towns and cities across the country. So the bar is actually set very high in the draft Master Plan 2041. We come back and carry forward this conversation. We are discussing the draft Delhi Master Plan 2041 put up by Delhi Development Authority or DDA for consultation and feedback from the citizens of the city. After all, this document in its final form will guide Delhi's development over the next 20 years, or so we hope. Dikshu, what, according to you, other than finance, are the challenges of implementation? I mean, look at even something as clearly laid out after much controversy, a land pooling policy, right, which was cleared, but it simply hasn't taken off in the way it had to. So other than finance and where will the money come for all these grandiose plans, what about the capacity itself of a DDA and the other agencies that you're talking about? Do they have enough manpower and they have the technicals to actually implement them?
So I don't think, Manisha, it's a problem of manpower. Probably the problem is of too much manpower, too many agencies. So everybody has an opinion, and it's always about, it's not in my backyard or it's not my responsibility. It's shifted to another agency. This has been the problem, as you were asking another guest about the problem with the previous implementation of the previous master plans. And this is where I fear that this master plan can have issues in terms of successful implementation. That's why my strong suggestion or recommendation would be that there needs to be, you see, everybody at the end of the day to perform has to be accountable. Now, the moment you make too many people accountable, it falls apart. So for this master plan, my suggestion is that there should be one single agency, like we tried to do in Delhi with UTPEC, where, various agencies came under for the traffic and transportation of Delhi. Now, for this master plan, I would say UTPEC should also be reporting to one single agency, which takes on the responsibility. We are talking about world-class cities. How have other cities across the world become world-class? The kind of organization structure they have had, the mayor literally functions there as the CEO of that city, and then everybody reports to that one single office. I don't think it's difficult. And forget, even states like Singapore have functioned very well in that manner. So there are good examples. We could look at those patterns. And I really truly dream that what you mentioned before the break about Delhi being, the MPD talks about Delhi being a showcase city of India. I would say, why can't we be a showcase city of the world? I mean, I would like to see Delhi as the tourist capital of the world. The kind of heritage we have here, the kind of landscape, the kind of assets we have, cultural and otherwise, I think this could be a place people flock to, Tokyo or Singapore or London or Paris.
Why not
Why
Delhi?
not Delhi?
I mean, our tourism numbers actually for the culture and heritage that we have, and a large part of it is in Delhi as well. Our tourism numbers are very, very dismal compared to many other countries in the world. But the draft plan again takes care of it. It talks about a vibrant nightlife. It talks about bringing, open public spaces and restoring heritage. Mr. Talwar, is it multiplicity of agencies which has been the biggest drag on implementing any big plans in Delhi? Do you believe the mayor system is a good idea? We've spoken about it many times, but no one really has had the gumption to actually implement something like that or change the power structures. Will DDA even give up 1% of its power?
Everyone's hit the nail on the head. There are too many agencies. There's multiplicity of authority. Well, in a place like Delhi, where you do have different municipalities here, you do have a government, a state government, you do have the union government. It's a very challenging task. Therefore, I think what we need to do is to at least have their aims and objectives all clear. I think if we have that clear, it should be what Dikshu was suggesting earlier, an overarching body comprising of everyone and saying, this is our basic goal and we need to work towards that.
Okay, gentlemen, let me then ask you, let's end on a more positive note. Rajiv, what is it in this draft master plan that stands out for you? What are the three big hits for you?
I think the big number one, that it has a modern mind in its place. It has brought out the problems. I think those problems are the ones which will lead to a solution. Okay. Number two, I think, yes, we've got a huge manpower or the numerical issue about this plan. If you're going to another 30 million citizen city, I think we need to now devise methods in the NCR region that how do we disperse. And I think basic thing is technology. I think one thing which we are ignoring is technology. If you recall, we had a very small respite for a few years only when we changed over from basic fuel to CNG. I think we need to take the next step, whether it is electric vehicles, whether it is electricity driven vehicles, whatever be the system. I mean, even our DMRC and the regional rapid transport would run on that. I think we need in every sphere, whether it's billing, whether it's monitoring, whether it is supervising, whether it is, kind of scrutinizing, technology has to step in a big way. I think India or Delhi needs to lead the way in terms of technology, which is what Bombay set the example also in tackling COVID. So I think we need to do that in a very major way.
All right. So finance, maybe the end of multiplicity of agencies. You can't end the multiple agencies involved, but at least have a clear reporting structure and use technology. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. I know that there is so much to discuss on this draft master plan that we could probably spend several shows on it. But this was an overview to say that, well, the draft Delhi Master Plan 2041 is out. It's a beautifully crafted document which has managed to take into account the proper use of land, protecting the environment and preserving Delhi's heritage. The devil, though, is in its implementation. It's up on the DDA site, waiting for citizen feedback. Do go through if you're an engaged citizen and make sure you put your comments there. Thank you so much for watching.